Ladies and gentlemen, yes, this is your favorite show, Sports Unfolded, with your favorite hosts, Eric and Ron.
Boom. Welcome to Sports Unfolded, episode 25 of season 2. No Love and Thunder. I need Ron to explain it to you because I feel like we're doing a Thor promo right now.
No, because there's going to be no love for a lot of what I'm going to be talking about.
Okay.
And of course, the Oklahoma City Thunder, made a big splash this NBA draft as well. So I thought it was pretty cool to combine.
I love it. So I am your host, Eric, my main man right there, Ron. Can't wait to get unfolding on some of these top stories tonight. You ready?
Oh, I'm ready.
All right, I'm
Let's
ready.
Let's do this.
Let's go with our leadoff story, and that's going to be the NBA draft that took place last night. I guess I would ask your overall thoughts.
Well, I think for the most part, I thought the coverage was kind of crappy.
And I'm glad you brought it up because that's exactly where I'm going. I literally shut it off after pick 10. I couldn't watch it anymore.
I made it to, I think, 14. I think I made it to 14. Yeah, I couldn't. First of all, look, you take the individuals that were doing the draft show. I have nothing against most of them, off the, to top,
Yeah.
Like Monica McNutt, I think she's good at, doing, NBA news and coverage and stuff like that. Wow, she was really bad at the interview. like she just asked the same question to almost everybody.
Yeah, it just like a lot of it was staged.
Yeah,
they were trying to feed each other. Billis.
Yep.
On ESPN, he seemed uncomfortable, like he didn't want to be there for the most part. It was, and it was just weird because, again, NFL drafts, when you really watch them, you sit there and you go, okay, you get some time to process the pick, who they got. Even if you're like, if you're really into it, you're looking it up and trying. Yesterday it was like I'm starting to figure out who the team drafted, and they're already on to the next pick.
Yeah,
it's like they blew right through everything. Didn't really give you much.
And not to mention, like almost the entire show that I saw, they just talked over each other. And it was like 3 of them at the same time talking through most of the show. And I'm like, what is going on? And, look, we do that sometimes and you can't help it because you want to chime in. But, for the most part, this is a debate show.
Yeah.
So that is what we're supposed to do.
Yeah, I think if I had seen one more of the pan to the family, it's a big moment for the family and they're sharing it. We know.
Yes.
We understand. You've said it now 17 times. We know. I get it. You want to show the emotion. You want to show the family's reaction. Yeah. But then I think it was the 3rd pick when it was Jabari Smith Jr. And he's on the phone as they're talking about, we wonder where he's going. And I wonder if this is going to be where the Rockets pick. He's on the phone saying, and you could read his lips saying, thank you.
Yeah, he's already crying.
Yeah, like, what are we doing? Like, yeah, what's the point then? But they're still trying to, on the back end, they're talking like they don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
It just, I don't know. So let's discuss a couple of players. I only follow the top 3 players. I mean, if you want to dive in more, we can. But Paolo Banchero from Duke went number 1 to Orlando Magic. Your thoughts on that pick?
I don't know. I don't know if I would have drafted him number 1, but I certainly wouldn't have drafted Chet number 1. So that is for sure.
There was a lot of debate, Jabari Smith Jr. and
that's who I would have picked.
So the funny thing though, Banchero to me is more NBA ready, like size wise, body wise.
Yes.
But Orlando never even brought him in or talked to him.
No.
And if you talk about an organization, and this is your number one pick, hopefully your future.
They should have wanted to talk to him right away.
Right? They tried out Holmgren, they tried out Smith. I don't understand that. And I think, honestly, to me, that may set them back because you don't know what kind of player you're getting if you don't at least have a conversation with him and ask him what he's about.
And, well, this is the problem with the franchise, right? I mean, when you really think about it, this is the problem. They just don't know what they're doing.
And I'd like to – the argument that there's solid college teams that could be NBA teams, when we see these drafts and then you get these young teams that are continuing to play through and they can't win any games, guess what? That goes to prove there's not a college team because a lot of these teams are college – I would say college A+. If that makes sense. They're like an upgraded college team because they're all young. They're all first, second year draft picks, and they don't succeed in the NBA. So everybody's got to stop that argument that, some of these great college teams could be an NBA team. They cannot.
No.
And then you brought up Chet Holmgren, and I think we both talked right before the show. Size, body-wise, his frame, big concern. You made a great comparison, as I thought as well, and I'll let you take the credit for that one. But
I just thought this screams Sean Bradley. If going back, was that a Philadelphia 76er pick?
76ers. Yep.
It just screams that. Now, I'm not saying he's going to be a serviceable, player or not. I think he will be serviceable, but I don't think he's going to be the guy they think he's going to be.
Yeah, it scares me. It scares me. Even in college, he's very lengthy.
Yeah, because you look at it, Eric, it's like, okay, so, as he gets older, he'll grow into the body, he'll put on weight. No, that doesn't mean that he's going to, like Manute Bol, did he?
No.
He stayed razor thin, like scary thin, so, that could be Chet. He could be the next Bradley. And, I'm not saying that he's not going to have a career in the NBA. He will. He'll have a career, but it might not be an all-star career because of his frame. Yeah. And I don't know if he's destined to be, put weight on and be more muscular. There's no way he's gonna put that much weight on.
I would say the only benefit, if you think about what the NBA is today, it's a shooting league. You're shooting, more threes than you are, people going down low and trying to post you up and bang bodies. That may benefit him because in today's NBA, it may work a little better than it did back in Sean Bradley's day. But I would still be concerned because that he's going to get out-muscled. It's a guarantee.
Yeah.
And then the third pick, Jabari Smith, seemed very disappointed when he got drafted. I think he expected to go number one. Do you think that's a good motivational or, ploy for him? Or is it kind of like, listen, you're going to Houston, which is very young as well. They had a number one pick last year. And, how does that pan out for him?
I actually think that's probably a better thing. Because, frankly, if you're going to Orlando, good luck to you, because I don't think your team is ever going to succeed because the ownership and who they hire to funnel the talent into the organization is not doing the job. They haven't had good players really since Shaq and Penny.
Yeah.
Like when you really think about it, that was the last time they were even relevant. So, this might be a blessing in disguise for him, because I don't think going to Orlando was a good thing for him. It was not a good thing for anybody because they don't know what they're doing.
Yeah, realistically. I will say this, and we're going to plug it as well. If you really want a great NBA draft show next year, hire Sports Unfolded.
That's right.
That's where you want to go because we'll tell it like it is.
Absolutely.
We'll tell you the pick sucked. We'll tell you what the hell are they doing.
Yep.
We'll criticize. We'll do a little bit of that as well. Not this all, everything's great and love That was more love yesterday, not thunder. We would be more thunder.
This is what I'm saying. The no love. This is part of that no
That
love
no
thing.
love. So speaking of no love, let's talk some NFL. And we're going to bring this individual up. That would be one Dan Snyder, who is obviously going through some major allegations. Is his time up in Washington? Should it be done at this point?
It should be. Like, they need to get this guy. This guy is nothing but scum. Okay, he's a scumbag. Look, he's a scumbag owner who does dirty things as an owner. He does dirty things as a businessman, and he does dirty things as a human. So there is only one word that can describe this guy, and that is scum. Again,
So,
no love.
I will say my no love would go to the NFL and their leadership on how you create a rule to have a commissioner who has no authority, and exactly what he said to Congress, to eliminate any owners. It has to be a 3/4 majority vote from the owners. So 24 out of 32 owners are going to have to say they don't want this guy in.
Right.
And yet, you know that these owners are in the same boat.
Yeah.
And why would you want to vote him out? And if I looked at it and I said, look, he's a successful owner, I would say, okay, I kind of understand it. 156, 212, and 1 since he's had the team in 1999, so 23 years. He's had 10 head coaches, 6 playoff appearances, and 2 postseason wins. So even if the owner's organization he's running isn't successful, he's not even doing that well.
No.
So
he hasn't done anything well.
But yet, again, these owners aren't going to kick him out because they know all this backlash. You know the guy that's probably laughing right now? He's sitting at home, hopefully watching Sports Unfolded right now. But that's John Gruden, who became a scapegoat for the NFL when this story first broke. He had sent emails to the Washington high ups and you think about it now. All this stuff that they've tried to cover up, the NFL, as Congress is investigating this, has found out that the NFL tried to hide it. They found stuff and they're trying to hide it. They wanted to bury this story. The commissioner should be fired.
Yep.
In my eyes, these owners should not have the authority to vote somebody out. It should be done by the guy that's running the league. If he can make decisions on players, then why can't he make decisions on owners? Because it still represents the league. They need to change that rule.
Yeah, they do.
They need to change that rule.
But they won't because the owners don't want that to happen.
Yeah, because they protect themselves. So we talked about it before. The big, the good old boys club. Yeah. They all sit there and they're all like, oh, well, if we say something, then he might say this about our organization or this may come out about our organization. How about running a clean organization? There's an idea. Let's try that once in a while.
And that's what I keep talking about the NFL. It's like it's widespread. And that's why our best hope for change is really when the Denver Broncos changes hands.
I really hope you were going to say Obi-Wan Kenobi. You're our best hope. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, but when I heard it, I just thought Princess Leia, R2-D2.
Yeah.
My bad. I've been playing a lot of Lego Star Wars, so that'll explain that.
There we go.
That would explain that. But Ron, I agree with you, man. Let's get rid of this. And again, very strong word, but I would say it's scum. Yeah. I agree with you. I think there's no other way to call it.
Every aspect of life, that's what he is.
Right.
In every aspect.
That $3 million or something that he tried to hide during the COVID stuff. Yeah. The sexual allegations and listen. We've said it before with the Deshaun Watson stuff. Where there's smoke, there's fire.
That's right.
He can sit there and deny it. But then the fact that he actually is cocky enough to say, I'm not going to go testify. Refusing to testify.
Yeah.
Like, what does that say? He knows his time is done. Why don't you face up, be a man for once, and just own up to your mistakes? That, to me, would go a lot further.
Well, I hope Washington charges him with crimes and really throws the book at him, literally throwing it at him. Like I want to see pages flying. The bookend to the head, knocking him off his chair, and then put in handcuffs and then going to jail.
Yeah.
That's where he belongs.
Agreed. So let's talk about another team in our local team, the New England Patriots, and the questions around the offensive coordinator position. So right now, they still have not named an offensive coordinator. Matt Patricia currently is being groomed as the offensive play caller.
That makes sense for a defensive coordinator.
And Joe Judge has some hand in this. Your overall thought process on what New England's doing currently for the offense?
I don't have a clue what they're doing. Like
I don't think anybody does.
I'm baffled at times, of what is being done at this moment. Because when you think about it, there is way too much going on in an NFL season, and it's a full year. It's not just during the games. For Belichick to actually be doing everything at this point is kind of ludicrous, and I think it's just going to make for little things that we took for granted to fall by the wayside. And that means that there's going to be those little things are going to grow into big problems. And it could be simple as, mishandling the cap, because now you're worried about making offensive plays. So, now you're paying less attention to the cap, say. It's just, that's just an example, but I think it's going to be more game planning that is going to fall by the wayside, because you can't account for everything if you're doing it all.
So they lost a lot of talent on the defensive side of the ball.
Yeah.
So when you start to look at it that way, at least if they were a veteran defense where you say, look, they're in a good shape on that side where he doesn't have to concentrate, that's Bill Belichick's strength. We all know it.
Yeah.
But then you go out and you say, all right, I'm going to grab and I'm going to have Matt Patricia, who went 13-29-1 with the Lions and was in the bottom end of the offense as a team all 3 years he was there. And Joe Judge, who was 10-23 with the New York Giants. And again, in the bottom half, if not even bottom quarter of the league in offense, and let them run your offense with a second-year quarterback in Mac Jones, who we all expect should be better. He is definitely putting in the work in the offseason. He's been, instead of traveling all over, he's been working with a team in Foxborough trying to do some things. I don't understand why Bill, at this point in his career and where he's at, would want to make this decision as well, though. It doesn't make sense to me. It's almost like he's trying to fail, if that makes sense. Is it possible he wants out? Like he's done with the whole thing? And this is kind of the way he's going about it?
I don't know. Because, look, I still think that he wants to win a Super Bowl without Tom Brady. Because now he has to. You know what I'm saying? He has to, in order for him to have a leg up on Tom. Hey, look, I can build another championship with another quarterback. That's what he wants. It's much easier, and let me just say, it is not easy for a quarterback to go to another stacked team and win a championship. Look, Matthew Stafford did it last year.
And Tom Brady did it. So
right. So that's what I'm saying. So if Bill can make another Super Bowl champion without Tom, that puts him above Tom. I would think so.
Then I would question some of these moves, dude.
Yes, and we've had these concerns, starting last year. Why are you doing this, and that, and all these things that were bumps along the way, and then they started playing well, and it was like, oh, okay, But then there was a lot of questions at the end of the season that kind of raised the eyebrows, and you kind of wonder, So there are a lot of things that have been very strange and unpatriot-like.
I'm going to tell you, we do a Patriot post-game show after each game. I feel like we are going to be very animated during those shows next season or this upcoming season because I just feel like we're going to be questioning the offense consistently throughout this year.
We may have to go on tape delay to blurb
Yeah,
out some of the.
bleep out some of the language that may happen.
Mm.
Look, I'm optimistically hopeful that Mac Jones can overcome some bad coaching. And obviously him sitting with Belichick every week would probably help at least give him some confidence on what the other team's going to do defensively to him. But I'm going to question every play call, especially if they're getting blown out at times, because it's just going to be, why would we run that during this time of the year or this time of the game? So we'll have to see how it all turns out. But I feel like it's going to be a wild ride in Foxborough this season.
Yeah, especially when you have other teams breathing down your neck.
Yeah, again, the division's getting better, and I didn't see us improve.
Well, on paper they improved.
NFL preview show, September, I believe, 5th. I'm going to tell you right now, as it currently stands, I got them 3rd or 4th in the division.
Yeah, I'm not even making that.
I'm
not doing any of that stuff until I see the roster.
And that's
the day
I'm bringing
before.
Thunder on that one. Thunder. That's Thunder.
Yeah.
All right. Are you ready to completely blow this show up right now? We're going triple play.
We're going to go triple play?
Triple play.
Triple play.
And I know for a fact that we are going to argue about this. Zach Wilson, mac and cheese. Yes, Manny, mac and cheese. Who's the cheese, though? We got the mac. We need the cheese. Who's the cheese? That's the question. Devontae Parker could be the cheese. Mac and cheese, I'd like it. That would be a good nickname if they do well. Triple play. We are going to decide on these 3 players who led the NFL in passing last year, who we would start, who we would bench, and who we would cut. And those 3 players are Tom Brady, Justin Herbert, and Matthew Stafford. And I am first this week. So, are you ready? I am starting Justin Herbert. And I didn't even do numbers. You know why I didn't do numbers? Because I just thought about it. If I'm building a team, would I want a 45-year-old quarterback or a 24-year-old quarterback who's trending upward? I went with the youth. I'm going to build around a guy that I know for the next 10 to 15 years can carry my team, not a guy that's going to only be around for a year or 2 and then leave. And now I'm rebuilding again, which means I benched Matthew Stafford, who's 34, but again, could give me maybe 6 more years, shown that he can go to another team and win a Super Bowl. I'm cutting Tom Brady. I am cutting Tom Brady, who's 45 at the start of this season. It makes no sense for me to build around a guy that I know clearly won't be there after a year, maybe 2. So Justin Herbert, start. Matthew Stafford, bench. Tom Brady is being cut.
Okay. So this is starting a team.
We're building a team. Yeah, we're building our team.
Okay. So this is a no-brainer. You absolutely start Herbert. Absolutely. Because he could be this year's Super Bowl winner for all we know. Well, this coming year. So, I'm taking his talent and I'm taking his youth and I am riding it, as far as I can go. I'm going to build my team around him and his talents and try to make it, to a Super Bowl championship. I am also benching Tom Brady.
The
reason why, because if I have Herbert as the quarterback, I want the guy that is the legend to be teaching him on the sideline. And who better to do that than Tom Brady? You don't cut Tom Brady. So you cut Matthew Stafford. I don't care if he just won the Super Bowl. I'll take Tom's full fingers.
This is where you're wrong. Give me a quarterback when Tom was in New England that he actually mentored. 0. He didn't want Jimmy Garoppolo. Anybody that you put
right
with him, he's too competitive. But
exactly. But now he wants to retire and be a sound body. So he is basically your coach now. So and that's what he does.
Manny asked right now or in their prime. And I will say this, we were talking about right now, but that's a great point. Let's look at it this way. Let's start it over. In their prime. Now,
When was that for Tom?
Right?
20 years?
Yeah. What, 2007 when he was like the most dominant quarterback in the league?
Well, if you're starting it over,
At
I'm
prime,
going to go
Tom
with
Brady.
Tom Brady.
Yeah, it would be Tom Brady. Question would be the bench.
Yeah,
And I that would be tough for me. I think I'd still go Herbert.
I think I would too.
And then I would cut Stafford at that point.
I would cut Stafford, yeah.
I just never saw enough in Detroit where it made me feel confident he could bring a team to a Super Bowl. He won a Super Bowl because that team was loaded.
Yeah.
And we all agreed.
Oh, yeah.
So, great point, though, Manny. Thank you for asking that question.
But yeah, no, I would definitely want Tom Brady's knowledge and help for that quarterback. And, all things being equal, if that's going to if that would happen, then, that's what this is for. That's start, bench, cut, right?
Yeah.
So all things being equal, they would do whatever they were asked to do.
Oh, great point, man. I can see where you're going with it. But I would still question it. Because Tom's never been a quarterback that wants
I'm not
to
saying
anybody.
that. I know he hasn't. Look, I know. He doesn't want the other guy to take his job like he took Drew Bledsoe's. I understand that, but all things being equal, if you're going to have that, then boom, I want Tom Brady there, as my backup because he's not that much older than Stafford, I mean,
11
really.
years. 11 years, not that much.
All right, so he's still a little older, but if you minus 11 years and say Stafford's a rookie and you take him 11 years in the league, and I'm
21
taking Brady.
years older than
I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't cut Tom Brady for anything. I don't cut him.
All
so
right.
he's going to be on the bench with Herbert if I'm starting.
I feel like the picture behind me is just going to fall. Like it's just going to come down because Tom's going to get upset with me.
He's not going to get upset.
For doing that. Tom might get upset at me. Tom's watching,
I know he's watching.
Okay, so, hey, let's talk some NBA. And one of your favorite players, we're going to bring him up because I know how much you love. Second favorite player. That would be some Kyrie Irving.
Oh, my God. I
know how much you like Kyrie. Let's bring him up. Let's look at Kyrie. I love Kyrie. He's a good-looking
You have me stunned right now. So, hold on. I gotta regather my thoughts.
You got to regather. You got to focus back in.
Like, I really dislike both of those guys.
Kyrie
you know what I'm saying?
That's one of his 29 games that he played this year. Look at him. Look at how focused he is.
Yeah. One of his 29 games.
Well rested.
And
so
it paid
he's
off.
given a wish list to the Brooklyn Nets. So the talks for him signing his extension have broken down. And he's possibly talking about being traded. If you were the Brooklyn Nets, what would you do with Kyrie Irving?
At this point, I almost lost it.
Family-friendly show.
Almost lost it. I would let him rot on the bench. Let him rot. Because you know what? He's trying to muscle his way to whatever he wants. He is unbearable at this point. Unbearable. And you know what? You think the Lakers would want him? Why? Because he couldn't play with LeBron before and he wanted out. So what the hell's the difference?
So let's look at some of the teams. They talked the Lakers, right? To your point, him and James, that's why the whole thing blew up in Cleveland.
Yeah.
They also put on there the Philadelphia 76ers. You basically wrote James Harden out of Brooklyn because
it makes
you couldn't
no
play with him.
sense.
So now you'd want to go play for him in Philly. Like, it doesn't make sense. Look, the only team that I really thought about and I said would make a sense in this deal would be the Knicks. Because to me, New York needs a player of his caliber that can bring some excitement if he plays.
Could you imagine if he played for the Knicks next year? Think about that. Going from Brooklyn to the Knicks?
Yeah, he'd be hated in New York. Well, in some areas. But to me, that makes more sense. And if you look at it, look, there's only one other team. You know what team I'd really love to see him go to?
Orlando.
If he was fully focused, listen, he's this season, 27.5 points, 4.4 rebounds, 5.8 assists. Granted, 29 games. But think about this pairing and what it would mean for the NBA. The Dallas Mavericks, who are one of the teams that he's talked about. If you can get a motivated Kyrie with a healthy, in shape Luka Doncic, those are two dynamic players that most teams can't even touch. You're talking about a guy that can do it all with Luka and probably the best ball handler in the NBA, maybe all time. That would be exciting to me. But again, your point, is Kyrie going to be fully there? Is he hasn't played a full season in 11 years. His 11 years in the league, he has not played one full season. The most he's played is 72 games in a season.
Really? Is that it?
Yeah.
Wow.
He's never played a full season.
Well, you know,
So,
I mean, I don't like the guy. I think
No,
he's
really?
I think he's just I think he's just unbearable at this point.
I think we should have. Let's go. We're going to do a quick face-off.
You know what would
LeBron
be
James
awesome?
or Kyrie Irving?
Look, you know what would be awesome? This is what would be awesome. If you can take Harden, Westbrook, Kyrie, LeBron, I don't know, throw somebody else in there that I don't like. I don't know who that is, but you throw them all on the same team and let that team just rot in
Draymond
hell.
Green. Draymond Green. I can't stand Draymond. I don't like any of the Warriors right now. And it's not because they beat the Celtics. I think they've just been very
cocky,
opinionated. Yes, very opinionated on some of the. And they had some shirt. Draymond made some nice shirts up about Boston though, and with a rooster on it. I'll let you. Yeah. So,
what was the first word? You can't say the first word?
Boston sucks roosters.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
classy guy.
Yeah, a very classy. Lakers, Clippers, New York Knicks, Miami Heat, Dallas Mavericks, 76ers. If it was going to happen, which one of those teams do you think he should go to?
Well, I would say the Dallas or Knicks.
Right, to me, that makes the most sense.
Like, LA makes no sense.
No,
you
the
know,
Lakers do not.
Sixers makes no sense.
Agree.
Because when he gets there, he's just going to run Harden out again.
And I think if you go to the Clippers, they're basically going to compete who doesn't play more games. Between Kawhi, between Paul George and Kyrie, they'll say, you know what, we'll see who can play less games in an actual NBA season.
Yeah.
And still make millions.
And you're going to have enough of basketballs to go around over there?
Imagine the Lakers. They had a hard time as it is.
I know.
Now you want to add Kyrie to the mix?
There would literally be one pass up the floor, and then that's it. That's it.
Hero ball at that point.
There'd be no passing.
The hero ball at that point. LeBron gets some rest, though. Think about it. He wouldn't really have to do as much.
Yeah. No, he wouldn't want to. He doesn't want Kyrie there. And he'll probably come out in public saying, oh, yeah, let's bring in Kyrie. Yeah, let's bring him in. And backstage, you know, in the offices, no, you bring him here, I'm out.
It goes that re-signing. All right, how about the Portland Trailblazers? They traded for Detroit forward Jeremy Grant. Do you think this is enough to keep Damian Lillard in Portland?
No. No. What will keep him there is lots of green $100 bills. Yeah, lots of them.
He makes it.
Yes, but he wants a lot more to stay.
So 31 years old, Lillard. You got to say, if realistically in the basketball world, he's on the back end of his career.
Mm-hmm.
How much longer do you stick around and just see how many times they can rotate through players before you say, look, I got to go to a team that's going to at least give me an opportunity to win now?
Yeah.
And
how many years left on his contract?
I think he's got 2. I could be wrong. Don't quote me on that. But look, they traded CJ McCollum, and I thought that was such a good 1-2 pairing. And look what McCollum did with New Orleans. Got him to the playoffs. Very exciting team. Think about what they're doing. You know, get Zion back. They're a playoff quality team now, possibly a contender for the Western Conference.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Whereas you get Grant in Portland, he's a good player, solid, he's a very solid player. And he's 28, so he's had some time in the NBA. He's not, wet behind the ears where he can't understand the game.
But he is what he is now.
Yeah, he's not enough.
Yeah.
To get them over there. Listen, 10 teams make it, right? And you could literally say that they're probably still not in those top 10 to make a playoff push. The Lakers had a bad season. I would not assume that they're not going to make the playoffs again next year. So you put them in, which means it takes one of the other teams out. New Orleans, we already said, it's going to be better. Golden State, again, unless injuries. Memphis, Dallas. You start looking at down the list. They're not.
I mean, a big thing is going to be where the free agents go. And I could see a team like Utah dropping out.
Yeah, again, a lot of changes yet. And again, who knows what's going to happen with them.
Because I think they're going to unload.
And Gobert. And yeah, we talked about that. So, yeah, no, you might be right. You might be right there.
Usually I am.
Yeah, I wouldn't go that far. I wouldn't go that far.
I would.
But top 10, I mean, seriously, you got them in the top 10.
Who?
The Portland Trailblazers.
No, I'm just saying. You said one team had to drop out if LA makes it. So I'm saying Utah.
You going Utah. I like it. Yeah, because Denver's going to be better. Think about what they're getting back.
Yeah.
Porter and Murray.
Memphis is going to be better. Right. Another year for that team because they lost because of
injuries. John Morant.
Yeah.
I still think they lost. My prediction would have been correct if John Morant didn't go down. Well, maybe not Milwaukee. Right. Maybe not the Milwaukee thing. But again, even that, the injuries.
Yeah.
Even that, injuries. Ron, we're going to talk some baseball. We're going to talk about the man we're going to bring up right here, who is destroying the league right now. He just settled for $19 million this season before the arbitration hearing was going to happen. They were kind of in between. Yankees were offering $17 million. He wanted 21, settled for 19. But he does become a free agent at the end of this season. So we're going to play the game. What are you thinking? You're the general manager now of the New York Yankees. I know how much you love the organization.
Oh, what were you thinking?
What are you thinking? How would you handle the Aaron Judge situation in New York?
If I was the GM?
You're the GM now.
Okay, so first of all, me being in New York, we cannot have our best player leaving us. This is New York. You need to want to be here. And by looking at Judge, he wants to be here. He loves this city. He loves the fans. So can you take a discount for us? But we're the Yankees. Judge isn't going to take a discount from the Yankees. A discount for the Yankees is going to be $21 million a year. That's a discount for you guys. So that's what we're going to have to pay him because, God forbid, if he was to go, God forbid, if he went
Aaron
up
Judge
to
$21
Boston,
million a year.
I'm just saying.
You're paying him a lot more than $21 million, by the way. That was just for this season.
Right. That was right.
He's 30 plus. He wants 30 plus. This is what I'm
saying. How are they even going to pay that? How are they going to pay that?
Oh, they got
because it's the Yankees.
They're going to hit the cap.
It's the Yankees.
I am the general manager now. I am the general manager. Ron, you want to ask me what I would do?
What would you do?
What would I do? I'm going to say, Aaron, we love you in New York. We need you in New York. You are New York. I understand you're 30 years old, and I want to make sure that we compensate you as a player that we are going to keep around for the next 5 to 7 years.
It's not going to happen.
I'm going to give you $35 million a year because I'm going to make up for the difference that those 3 extra years that you wanted we can't do. We can't do a 10-year contract, Aaron. I don't want you to be in New York at 39, 40 years old, and these fans, and you know how they'll treat you. They only remember today. Let's get the next 7 years, get the most money we can for you, and we're going to keep you in New York for the next 7 years. Because I want you here. I need you here. You belong here. They lowball this guy, he's gone. If they don't give him a decent amount of years, he's gone. He's walking because there's going to be a team out there, whoever it is, Houston, Boston, the Dodgers, the Angels, all of these teams are going to offer this guy 10 years. The Mets. And if he goes across town, that's worse than Kyrie going to New York. That would be you're talking.
Oh, I know, because Mets fans and Yankees fans hate each other.
Yeah, and you're talking about a guy in his prime, not a guy that's again, he's got another 5 solid years in him. Easy.
Yeah. I don't know what the Yankees are going to do about this because you're talking ridiculous amounts of money. But they can't let him walk.
Is this not similar to the Devers situation in Boston?
It's going to be very similar.
Right. And that's what I'm saying. Lately in baseball, it just seems like these teams are they're waiting and holding on. Look, the New York Yankees could have offered him a contract in the offseason. They talked. Aaron Judge bid on himself. He's like, I'm just going to see how this season plays out. He's batting .304 right now with 27 home runs, first in the Major League Baseball's 53 RBIs, which is 5th.
See, the big question to me. Look, the big question to me is still the revenue. Okay. Now, yes, baseball teams, they're doing okay, and the Yankees are one of the richest teams in the world. But the problem is when you start going 35, $39 million a year for a player, when you really can just get somebody else and do it.
No, there is not another Aaron Judge out there.
Seriously? No, you're going to say there's no Aaron Judge out there?
Rafael Devers wants 25 to 30 million. They're saying you're just going to get another Devers.
So if he wants, so 25 to 30, right?
Yep.
What's to stop the Yankees from saying, okay, Aaron, you're a free agent at the end of the year. That's okay.
Grab Rafael Devers.
Grab Rafael Devers. Would you not want Rafael Devers at $10 million less?
Possible.
Rafael Devers is one of the best hitters in baseball this year.
Yeah.
I mean, he's going to hit about the same amount of home runs. They're going to hit the same. I mean, when you really think about it, what's to stop them from doing that? You think the Red Sox are going to offer $35 to $40 million for Aaron Judge? No, because they don't want to pay Rafael Devers. So why would they want to pay more for a guy that's 5 years older? They're not going to. So they are not going to grab Judge. And they already know this. Look,
that was no.
I hate the Yankees, and we all know. No. I hate the Yankees, right?
Hate LeBron, hate the Yankees. None of us knew this.
But I'll tell you what, they are the smartest team in baseball. And I'll tell you why. Because every single year they seem to have prospects. How? They make these deals, they trade away all their prospects, but they still have more. They always have more. And we always say, oh, yeah, but their minor league system is depleted. Well, they always seem to pop up a prospect here or there. They always seem to have one. So I'm looking at teams, like Tampa Bay that always seems to contend, and they always get rid of all their good players, right? Yeah. But they always have contenders because they trade those good players for a lot of good prospects. So they have the prospects. We know that. But the Yankees, they trade them all away, but they still have more. It's like they're plucking it off of a prospect tree. That's what it's like.
The old prospect tree in the backyard, yes.
Yeah. Red Sox, their farm system is depleted. They're trying to build it back up, and I get it. And, but I don't see these guys coming up and sticking. Like we had Benintendi. What do? We trade him away.
So
Okay.
I got to ask you this question though, and listen, you're not going to like what I'm going to say, but I'm going to ask you it anyway. Which
Why
fan
am I
base?
a Red Sox fan?
No, but which fan base do you think would be more devastated by losing a player? To me, it's New York. It's so hard for those fans to fall in. You think about the history of the New York Yankees and the players. In Boston, it doesn't seem. Look, Roger Clemens went, and he went to the Yankees and to
It's
Houston.
absolutely New York because the Red Sox always have a history of trading away their guy.
So this is what I'm saying. The Yankees, to me, can't afford to get rid of Aaron because he's become a Yankee.
They
Whereas
just did
if
it to
Devers
Mookie
walks
Betts.
away, right Betts, great example.
Like he was. I mean, he was the guy.
And
Like
now you've got
after
two players
Poppy,
on
it was
Boston,
him.
Bogarts and Devers. You're
Right.
about to lose both of them. And
Yep.
it's not like the fans are going hysterical. Whereas in New York, they're like, what are we doing not signing this guy already?
Yeah.
Like, just pay him his money. He's a Yankee.
Yeah.
And I think this is where the Yankees organization could get themselves in trouble.
It's part of the DNA of Major League Baseball. Major League Baseball, Red Sox have broken the hearts of fans since Babe Ruth was traded away for
Curse to the Bambino, baby.
for a couple of $1,000 so that way they could put on a Broadway play or whatever the hell it was. It was ridiculous, right? So, from then
got a bag
on,
of beans too,
look,
by the way.
Fred Lynn becomes this big popular guy. They trade him away. Carlton Fisk, trade him away. It's just history. Roger Clemens. You just go down the list. Wade Boggs. There's so many players that they just trade away like they're discarded for nothing. And that is the frustrating part about being a Red Sox fan. So you don't get too attached. You get attached to the identity of the Red Sox, but not the faces, because they just break your heart. John Lester. How do you trade John Lester away? Like that guy was the reason why you won. Then you trade him away like he was nothing.
It happens every. Andy Pettit went,
Right.
Again to Houston.
I get it.
Could sit there, look, but then they did it with Jeter. Jeter there was a lot of rumors, and as soon as the Red Sox are interested,
yeah, that's it.
the Yankees
shut it down. Yep. Shut it down.
But that's where it's kind of like New York needs somebody to say, "Look, we're going to go after him."
Yeah,
which they know there is, but somebody's got to come out and just say it. If there's an organization that comes out and says, "Look, we're going to give him 10 years, $400 million," New York's going to be like, "Well, we're going to have to do something because we're going to lose him."
Yeah,
it's going to be interesting to see.
But like I said, in a case like Aaron Judge, you can't overextend it. Like, look, I am not going to want to pay a $35 million player at 40.
Exactly. That's what I said. Go 7 years. If you can get him to sign for 7 years, but you got to up it on one end. So if it was going to be $40 million, you might have to give him $35 million, every year for 7 years versus giving him $30 million for, what I mean, X amount of time. I don't know. We'll see.
So look, the Yankees are going to be in a hot mess.
That day I'm not doing the show. I'm telling you
because
right now.
Look, they can't look at the deadline. You can't trade them. You're the best team in baseball. Nope. You can't trade them. So
52-18.
You either let them walk.
Imagine that. Walks for nothing. Oh my goodness. Or they don't re-sign. Yeah, it's just absolutely ridiculous to even think about. And I'm telling you right now, I won't do that show.
Yeah.
Aaron Judge signs with the Boston Red Sox. I'm not doing that show.
You absolutely will. You absolutely will.
Face-off time.
Wait, we haven't done NHL yet?
No, not yet, buddy. It's next. You are just
anxious.
all pumped up.
I am anxious.
It's coming. I always save the best for last, my friend.
Well, you threw me off with the pick and roll earlier, and
So, pick and roll hasn't happened either. You're talking triple play.
Oh, triple play. Yeah, whatever it was.
Face off, my friend. And this is what we're going to decide today. Should the NBA rethink their draft status for high school players and allow them to be drafted again in the league? So one of us has to be for this. One of us has to be against this. I am first this week, so I get to pick. And I am completely for this because I am going to tell you that I miss players like Kobe, Garnett, James, Howard, McGrady. These were all high school players.
James Howard?
James Howard, yes. James Posey. No, LeBron James, the king.
Oh.
The king, my friend. King James. Your boy, your guy. All out of high school, and you think about what they've done for the NBA and the history of the NBA. There's, 4 of those guys are in the top 75 all-time in the league. Solid players. Phenomenal opportunities. There have been misses. There's been busts. But I've also seen guys yesterday getting drafted from a G League. And now that colleges are paying, this one and done thing too, I still don't like it. So why just go to the NBA? Become a Kobe, become a Garnett, become a LeBron James, a Dwight Howard, a Tracy McGrady. The NBA needs to bring this back. It creates excitement around these players that you follow for years to come. They have to bring back that rule. Go ahead.
Okay, so what you're telling me that if they didn't come out of high school into the NBA, they would have never been, those 4 guys would have never been in the top 75 of all time?
Nope.
Oh, you're saying that.
That extra year helped them.
Oh, get out of here. It did not help them. Oh, that's absolutely ridiculous.
Players.
If anything, they would have been better to go to college.
There's players that need college. There's players that need to develop in college.
LeBron James did not need to go to college. I agree with that because he is already a big man, right? But tell me that Juwan Howard wouldn't have benefited from going to college at least. Dwight Howard rather wouldn't have benefited, No,
he was dominant. Dwight Howard dominated when he came out.
Look, I'm just saying. Around too long. I'm just saying, these guys still would have been a better player after 1 year at college.
Kobe would have been a better player.
Yeah, maybe.
What do you
imagine if Kobe could have?
Hey, call your doctor. Tell him that your dose is way too high.
Look,
because you got to be
it would not have taken those guys away from being the top 75 of all time. It would not have done that at all. They
go to a bad college coach who ruins their career.
It wouldn't have ruined their career. They were too good.
They were motivated to play in the NBA. They're playing against top talent, and they were dominating.
It still wouldn't have mattered. It still wouldn't have mattered. Then they could have gone to the G League and then get drafted anyway.
This damn G League too. It's a joke.
Like it's all the whole system
How
is
many
a
Red
joke,
Claw,
Eric.
Maine Red Claws? So I think that's what it is. The Boston Celtics G League team. Have you seen how many games?
They don't play those guys.
Taco Fall went there. Do you even remember what he did?
He still got commercials, so he's doing something right.
That's because New England, we do that with everybody. Oh, it's clever. His name's Taco. And they never did a taco commercial.
Yeah, I know.
Does that make sense?
How does he not do Taco Bell?
The man's Taco Fall doesn't do a taco commercial.
I know.
I don't get it.
But so those guys would have made it no matter what.
I'm not saying they wouldn't have made it.
Look, they need to do a year in college. You have to do that.
What does that prove, though, a year of college?
Because then you have all these clowns trying to, not go to college.
You've called people scum and clowns today, by the way.
Yes, I told you it was going to be the no love and thunder, and I'm bringing down the thunder.
Holy Toledo. Scum and clowns.
Like this is ridiculous already. No, enough is enough. Enough is enough. It's
You are definitely off your rocker on this one.
No, I'm not. No,
you are.
Let's not bring these kids into a man's game where they can't even handle.
These guys did it.
You're talking some of the best players in the world history.
That's what I'm saying.
4 guys, 4 out of all 5. The history.
And I could say Jermaine O'Neal was a very solid player.
Oh, come on.
He was.
Oh, come on. Give me a break. Give me a break. What was his first year stats? Go ahead. What are they?
Who?
Jermaine O'Neal.
I'm going to look it up right now. Keep talking.
Yeah, you do that. Like,
I can't. I got to go to the other thing. I'm not doing it.
Yeah, you got to go to the other thing. This, that, and the other thing.
This,
Like
that, and the other thing.
you try to
You know
talk one thing and then you use the excuse for another thing, and it's like you can't do that.
What do
You
you mean?
can't. You know what I
You're gonna
mean?
have bus. There's
I'm
kids that go to
bringing up
college.
the other one again. The Miracle on Ice, buddy.
Listen, there's guys that go into college. They can play 4 years and then go into the NBA and stink. It doesn't matter. It's a crapshoot. You play
It
1
is a
year in college
crapshoot.
doesn't guarantee you're going to be any better in the NBA.
No, it doesn't. But if you want to play pro, go to Europe or go to the G League.
What
Do
does
it that
do,
way.
though?
What does it do?
Yes. What does that do
It
for the
gets
player?
it gets you playing.
So
at
if
least
Kobe
with
played
men,
in
not with high school boys.
Istanbul, Turkey, Kobe Bryant played in Istanbul, Turkey for 1 year. He's not Kobe Bryant?
Of course he is.
Okay. So why even have to waste your time going and doing all these other things?
Because that is 0.5% of the players that come out of high school. 0.5%.
There's kids going in now to the G League because they can't make college anyway. So you're just giving them another outlet.
Right. That's what you got to do. You got to give them the experience, and you got to start making these other leagues like more like a training session. You know,
Right.
it's pro, but
All right.
it's like
This
you've
is what I'm
got
gonna
to
give you.
make it that
All right.
way.
All right, I'm going to give you this analogy and then see if this makes sense to you. You're playing the best in the world. So now I'm going to have Ron, I want you to box somebody today. I'm going to have you against a guy that's never boxed before in his life. And then I'm going to put you up against one of the heavyweight champions of the world. If you can succeed against the heavyweight champion of the world, you belong there. If you're beating guys that aren't very good anyway.
Look, I'm not saying that they don't belong there.
The
I'm
G
not
League's a
saying
joke.
I'm not saying that, but when you're talking about 4 or 5 guys in the history of the NBA that came out of high school, 4 or 5 guys in the
Do you
history.
remember how long this segment used to be?
Yes, I know.
Look at how
I
long
know.
we are fired up about this one. This one needs to go on one of the Rhode Island Broadcasting specials, a face-off, because I'm telling you right now, there's not going to be a single person that doesn't agree with me.
I don't care if they agree with you.
No.
Just because they agree with you, it doesn't mean it's right.
Oh, of course it does.
No, it does not.
Because fans never lie.
It's totally wrong.
Fans
It's
never lie.
totally wrong. Oh, the fans never lie.
Manny's even thinking about it. Manny's debating it right now. Manny knows. Manny, who won that face-off? High school players back in the NBA. In the draft, right? He's thinking about it right now. He knows.
Those great players will still be great, but all those others won't have their careers destroyed because it's
How about
just,
this, Ron?
you know,
How many USFL
infantry.
football games have you watched this season?
3.
3.
Oh,
many
you
games-
didn't think I had that many, did
How
you?
many games were there?
That I couldn't tell
More
you.
than 3?
They were more than 3.
Okay. So this is my point. Like, if nobody's watching, nobody's paying attention to these things, are any of those UFL players going to get in the NFL? Probably not. Because it doesn't
Why
matter.
not?
That
You don't
doesn't
think
matter.
that scouts are scouting? That's what you do. So
Not
the
wasting
scouts
their
go
time.
to these G Leagues. That's how they got drafted yesterday.
There's
The scouts
like
are there.
2 guys that got drafted from the G League.
It doesn't matter. The scouts are still there. They're everywhere. Didn't you see the movie Hustle?
Oh, I did watch it.
He's hanging out at the local basketball.
I didn't
courts
realize
looking
that was
for a
Juan
guy.
Mohamed Gomez from the
Yes.
Celtics. I didn't
Yes.
realize that. And then at the end, when they show the name, I'm like, we had him. We could have won that fight. We could have won the finals.
Yes.
He wasn't that good with us.
No.
Hollywood magic. You
It
see what
is.
movies do? I won that.
You
Hey.
did not win.
Let's talk some NHL because I know you're dying to get to the NHL. And we're going to start off with the Stanley Cup. Game 5 is tonight between the Colorado Avalanche, who lead 3-1 over the defending champions, Tampa Bay Lightning.
Let's call it what it is, the final game.
Your expectations for tonight, you've already answered the question. Segment over. Let's move on. No. I will say this, Ron, I wanted to ask you this question. As my hockey guru, my knowledge of all knowledge when it comes to things hockey, the Game 4 overtime goal that Colorado scored, a lot of controversy, 6 men on the ice, skaters, plus the goalie 7, right, which is against the rules. Did you see it that way? Should that goal have counted?
Well, I think they should have counted it because if the player is just off the bench and is a skater skating to the bench, there is a leeway of a few feet for that change to happen. So if neither player is involved in the play, then technically it's not really 6 players on the ice. You really only have 4 because neither one of those guys are involved in the play. And
But Kadri was the guy coming off the bench,
right,
and he's the one that scored.
right.
So you feel it was a legal play?
Yeah, because by the time he gets there, the other guy is already off of the ice, and he's now getting involved in the play when he's off the ice, and that is like you can see that during the game a million times a game. If you take a still and you say, "Oh, look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6," there are times where you can count probably 8 guys on the ice at a time on a still, but you can clearly see that the player is skating off the ice and one player is coming on the ice.
Okay.
So there's a little cushion of where the players need to be in order for it to be, too many men on the ice. And in that case, there was not too many men on the ice, and therefore the goal should stand.
So I will ask you this. What does Tampa Bay have to do to at least continue to go on in this series? You seem to they're dead in the water to you.
I think they
I
are.
guess I would say dead on the ice.
They're going back to Colorado. I don't see them winning Game 5 in a must-win situation in Colorado. Now, this is the Tampa Bay Lightning. They have been there, done that this year. But it is also a super talented Colorado team. And yes, Tampa Bay has the better goalie. But there comes a point in time where even the goalie can't save a team, and Carey Price found that out last year.
Yeah. So look, 7.1% on the power play right now for Tampa Bay. That isn't winning you a series.
Not getting it done.
53.9 on the penalty kill.
That's
not going to win you, right? So as good as you've been, those two stats to me were alarming because these games have been tight. The last few games have been tight.
Yeah.
But you're getting out-muscled when it counts the most. When you're either undermanned or overmanned, you're not able to produce numbers that are consistent with winning a series. Exactly. 92.9% penalty kills for Colorado. That is pretty darn good.
Yeah. You're only giving up 1 to the Tampa Bay Lightning, and that's not going to, you can just count it as a kill, for Game 5, because now think about them going to be in Colorado, and you ain't going to have the referees second guessing a penalty on you.
Yeah.
It's going to happen.
They were out shooting Game 4, Colorado. I think it was like 21-4 in the first period.
Yeah.
Only had 1 goal. In this series, 36-27 in favor of Colorado. So Colorado, and even in Game 4, Colorado came back. I think they only missed by like 3 or 4 shots.
Yeah.
They're putting more shots on goal.
Yep.
More pressure on Vasilevsky. This is pretty. And Darcy Kemper quietly, after being pulled in Game 3, came back and performed very well in Game 4.
Absolutely. And that was a key for Colorado, like because he saved their bacon a few times.
Saved the bacon. We all love bacon,
but not as much as what's been on Vasilevsky in this series. I mean, Colorado is all over the place, and yes, even though Game 3 it was mostly all Tampa Bay, but I mean, when you look at the rest of the series, it has been Colorado flying all over the ice. Tampa Bay cannot keep up with them, and you only have a couple of players that can keep up, and they're just not able to get it done.
Listen, we've been doing this all year, and you talked about how fast Colorado was. The speed of their skaters all year has been noticeable. They had the best record in the West.
Yeah.
and you knew every time they got on the ice they were going to out ice you, right? Like skate you each time. So we're seeing it now. Again, that experience though with Tampa, can you not at least seeing them make this a series? You don't think they get Game 5 tonight?
I don't think they get Game 5.
You think the
I don't
run's
think
over?
so.
So much hockey, so much time. I think I agree with you. Like, you've played a lot of hockey in the last 2 years, now 3 years.
Yeah.
It might have just they a little tired. They look a little tired, exhausted. But what a great run, regardless. If
Oh,
Colorado
absolutely.
wins,
I
what a
mean,
phenomenal run.
this is clearly a dynasty, and I gotta think that it could be over because you have too many teams that are up and coming right now in the East, and I just think it's going to be much more difficult to even make the playoffs next year.
Yeah,
That's going to be tough, and they're going to have free agents, and we'll have like a hockey show coming up. I'm sure that we'll have to discuss like all the potential free agents out there.
Oh yeah, we're gonna have an NHL preview show. We're gonna have tons going on. We're not gonna hockey doesn't die once the season's over. We're gonna continue bringing it. We got to do it. I got to do a basketball one soon with Kenny too. We need to get that going. But let's talk about the Bruins. What's a hockey segment NHL for us without discussing the local team, the Boston Bruins? Patrice Bergeron. I know this makes you very happy. Has decided to come back at least for one more season.
Yep.
With the Boston Bruins.
Like I said.
So what I will ask you is this. What is the next logical move for the Bruins this offseason?
This is going to be a tough offseason because Don Sweeney, the GM, is going to be in a big pickle because he's going to have so many guys out till November and December and key guys, and he's going to be strapped with that cap, and he can't just sign players to replace, three defensemen and Marchand. You can't just sign players to replace them because you're not going to be able to fit all of them in the cap. So you can sign one guy. So you got to put the best bang for the buck in that one guy. And now I know like the internet has been loaded with, Pasternak to the Devils. That's not happening. So get it out of your thoughts. It's not happening, especially with Bergeron coming back. It's definitely not happening. So they're going to have to piece something together. They got to try to win this year. That's what Don Sweeney's thinking right now. He's got to try to win this year. And how he's going to do that is he's just going to try to get as biggest bang for the buck that you can.
So I'm going to ask you this, though, then. So to me, number one priority, coaching. So what you're saying to me would be is they need a Stanley Cup winning coach or somebody that's experienced in the playoffs enough. And that's kind of going against the grain of what you said last week, where you talked about somebody who's maybe out of college, right? If their mentality is going to be win now or have to win this year, because again, you're bringing back all these guys for that final run, they need to get themselves a top-notch coach first.
So this leads me to believe that it's going to be a coach that has won a championship, not necessarily in the NHL. So I'm looking at PC right now. That's what I'm looking at. Because, look, you're still going to have a lot of young players. You're going to have to do it with young players. Like, I know there's talk that they could go get Krejci, but I really think that if they're going to make a big splash and they need a center to center Pasternak and Hall, I don't think signing Krejci is the guy. I think you got to go out and get the best center iceman that is available in the NHL because that is going to be your replacement for Bergeron.
And that's where I was going. Second line. Center,
this
right?
is what I'm. Center. Yeah. So they want a guy that's going to replace Bergeron because they know Bergeron is either done this year or next year. They know this because I don't see Bergeron playing until he's 40. Yeah. I can see him playing until he's 39, but not 40. And I know it's only 1 year, but But that's what I envision. I think there's a conversation between Don Sweeney, Cam Neely, and Patrice Bergeron that's an exit strategy. We're going to give you a year contract. You can always say, okay, I'm done after that. But if you can give us 2 years, this is our exit strategy to get somebody in here to replace you. Even though there is no replacing a Patrice Bergeron.
Again, a guy that at least you can get into your system and hopefully
Right.
in 2 years can figure it out. So let me ask. Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
So let me ask you this: we talked coaching, we talked about second line center.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask you this question: what about the goaltending, though? Are you confident enough that what the Bruins have with Swayman and Ullmark
Yes.
are enough to win the Stanley Cup?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
and which one of those guys would be the front runner?
Swayman will probably be the guy that ultimately takes over the reins. He will be the guy.
Okay, so you see them going best available player at a position and a winning coach, but not necessarily.
Yeah, they're gonna go with a. They're gonna go with a good coach, but that's gonna deal with the younger players.
Okay. All right.
Because I'm looking at it this way. Yes, we know that they need to win now. We know that.
Yeah,
and
players that you just don't. You're running out of time.
Right. So, but guys like Patrice Bergeron, Marchand, Pasternak, Hall, they don't need that kind of a coach.
Yeah,
I
understand.
They don't need a Barry Trotz or a Tortorella. They don't
need a guy that's going to be strategic enough to get them in positions where, look, when you're down in a power play or you're on a penalty, right? You're on a penalty kill. How can you muster the right matchups that are going to affect it? And I've noticed that a lot with hockey. It's all about matchups. Which guys are out with which guys usually is key to how you're going to, if you're going to win or lose a game.
Absolutely.
So, I'm learning a lot, my friend. My hockey.
I'll tell you,
taught me so much this year.
Look, the Bruins can do a couple of things. Like I know there's a lot of question about Jake DeBrusk. Well, okay, so if you decide that you are trading him, you can trade him for maybe a draft pick, first or a second, depending on a team that you're trading him to, or a quality player coming back that's younger, but has the potential.
Yeah.
Because we all know Jake DeBrusk can play. And now it's whether or not he really wants to stay or not. But you can do that. So if you did trade DeBrusk, you can put most anyone with talent on the right side of Bergeron and Marchand. So why not put Studnicka, who you want to groom to be your next Bergeron, and have him learn from the guy on the guy's line?
Makes sense.
Like that's what I can see. So if you trade DeBrusk, you can save yourself like $5 million on the cap right there, and put a guy like Studnicka with Marchand and Bergeron. Of course, you have to wait till December to get Marchand back.
Yeah, and again, Marchand, double hip surgery.
Yep.
What kind of play is he going to be coming back? There's a lot of question marks.
Yeah.
I love where we're going. We're going to obviously continue talking Bruins throughout the offseason.
Yes.
But check out the Stanley Cup Finals tonight, right? Game 5 we could crown a champion.
Absolutely.
It's pick and roll time, my friend.
Pick and roll.
And we are going to rank some of these all-time great MLB players who wore number 25, episode 25, No Love and Thunder. We've been all about more thunder than love today. There's been none love. We should say.
Yeah. Pretty much in every segment.
Pretty much. But the 5 players we're going to discuss are Barry Bonds, Jim Thome, Mark Maguire, Andrew Jones, and Rafael Palmeiro. So I am first. I will start us off, give you the correct list, and then unfortunately you can just chime in with what you think the list should have been. At number 5, Jim Thome, 276 batting average, 2,328 hits, 612 home runs, 1,699 RBIs, 5-time All-Star, 1 Silver Slugger. It was kind of like, okay, all these guys have great numbers. He just didn't have enough of the extracurricular awards, if that makes sense. The All-Stars, the Silver Sluggers. That's why I put him at 5. At 4, Andrew Jones had the worst batting average of all of these 5 guys, 254, 1,933 hits, 434 home runs, 1,289 RBIs, 5-time All-Star, but he had 152 stolen bases, so I gave him a little slack there. 1 Silver Slugger, 1 Major League Baseball Player of the Year, 10-time Gold Glover. So we know, we've talked defense always somehow it sticks with me. I couldn't put him at 5 because of the Gold Gloves. At number 3, this is where it got interesting because I had a tough time with this.
Oh yeah, it's interesting.
3, Mark Maguire, 263 batting average, 1,626 hits, 583 home runs, 1,414 RBIs, 12-time All-Star, Rookie of the Year. He won 1 Gold Glove, 3-time Silver Slugger, and he was the only guy on this list that won a championship. And I know how big that is with you. So you kind of put him in the middle of the ground because his batting average, not very good. And then if you look at some of his overall numbers, not these next 2 guys. At number 2, Rafael Palmeiro. And I didn't realize how good his numbers were, though. 288. And that's what I say. He's probably more remembered now for that Congress session, right? I didn't say, yeah, right. Then he is. And he's not in the Hall of Fame because of that. But if you listen to his numbers, 288, 3,020 hits, 569 home runs, 1,835 RBIs, 4-time All-Star, 3-time Gold Glove, 2-time Silver Slugger, and a Major League Baseball Player of the Year. He should be in the Hall of Fame. But again, you did, like you said, he did that wag and he was confident about his that he wasn't doing something that he was doing. And obviously the fans will never forget it. And number 1, clear cut, it has to be Barry Bonds. 298 batting average, best of the guys on this list. 2,935 hits, 792 home runs, 1,996 RBIs, 514 stolen bases, 7-time MVP, 14-time All-Star, 8-time Gold Glove, 2-time batting title, 12-time Silver Slugger, 3-time Major League Baseball Player of the Year. The guy dominated. He's by far the best 25 ever in baseball history, especially with these 5 guys. And that's on, and not the burger joint. 5 guys, just so you're aware. I know you get a little hungry sometimes. Very salty, that fries, by the way. Very salty. Go ahead.
Okay, so here's my list. At number 1,
Number 1,
I have Jim Tomei.
at number 5.
There is no 5.
Okay.
There is no 4. There is no 3, and there is no 2.
Jim Tomei is your number 1.
Jim Tomei is the only guy on this list that I respect. Jim Tomei. The only guy on that list that isn't tied to steroids. Yes.
I believe he was.
Not tied to steroids.
Okay. I'm pretty sure he was, my friend, but that's fine.
And if he is, then there's no list. But
So
I
that's
looked
your
it up,
list.
and
That's
he
your
is
list.
and he is not tied to any
Okay.
steroid use. So Jim Tomei is my number 1. And I don't need 2 through 4. I mean 2 through 5. But if I was to put them in order,
There we go.
Andrew
Yeah.
Jones would be last out of
Okay.
the all-steroid
Even with
team.
the 10 Gold Gloves.
Even with the 10 Gold Gloves.
Okay. Because the steroids make you catch better too. But go ahead.
No, but if you look at his numbers, and you can see where
numbers aren't
he
very good.
started, like he went from 28 home runs a year to 41. Boom,
Yeah.
just like that. Ooh, and then his speed fell off.
Okay.
So Andrew Jones would be last. Above him would be Mark Maguire. Above him would be Palmeiro, and then above him would be Bonds on the all-steroid team.
Yep.
So I don't put them in the same category as Jim Tomei.
Okay.
And look, and I'll tell you, and this is why I respect Derek Jeter more than almost any player from that era. Because Jeter never changed. You know, the body size didn't change like a Jeff Bagwell with those arms like Popeye. You know, Yeah, everything stayed the same for Jeter. His
Have you
numbers were
seen
great all through his whole career,
Have you
just like
seen
they
the
were.
pictures of Kyle's Farnsworth?
Oh,
Did you see how he's changed?
yeah. I
My
mean,
goodness,
you look
that
at Ken
man.
Caminiti,
the-
all these guys. Ken Caminiti won an MVP, and he used. Okay, he clearly used. Mark Maguire. Oh, come on.
I will agree.
Like,
Mark
really?
McGuire, 100%. Bonds did it too. Rafael, we know, did it.
Oh, Rafael, he was my
But again,
favorite player in baseball. And then when that came out, I was devastated about baseball. And like when you were like, he was my favorite player. I loved his swing. I loved his approach to the game. But little did I know that it was juice. And I don't respect players like that. I'm
okay,
sorry. Like Manny, you're
okay,
dead to me.
okay.
Dead to me.
All right, great pick
And
and
he can
roll.
come on the show and I can tell him to his face.
And have him come on, my friend. You ask the question, we'll get him on.
So
Let's bring up it's prediction time. Let's bring up as the race gets tighter. So we're about halfway through the season, right? So next week will be half the year.
yep.
So we are neck and neck, 3 games separate in the win column.
Yeah.
So very interesting. If you're interested in getting on this list, please make sure you chime in and let us know who you pick each week. We'll get your name on the list. Right now, 104 wins, 101 wins. So we are picking the tough games of the week. We are not, sugarcoating it by trying to get some cakewalks and having easy wins. These are all most of the time the top games of the week.
Yeah, these aren't like Golden State versus, Orlando.
Yeah. The city of Orlando, if anybody is
Yeah, they're not liking me too. I told you,
Yeah,
no
yeah,
love. No love.
I
No
don't
love.
listen, and I hate to admit this to you, but Dan Snyder is not sending you a Christmas card this year. I think you're off the list. You're off the list, my friend.
Yeah, I'm probably off of Kyrie's also.
Kyrie, LeBron, you haven't been on LeBron's list at all.
No,
so.
I've never been on his list.
So this week we are starting off. I am first 6:24, which is tonight. The Tampa Bay Lightning at the Colorado Avalanche, Game 5. Avs up 3-1. I am going to go with the Avs. I just think, to your point, I think the run's over for Tampa Bay. They had their shot in Game 4, and losing in overtime like that, I think it's just going to be too deflating for them to get past it on the road.
Yep, I agree. I go Colorado, as everybody knows from the hockey segment.
Yeah, good job. Great job keeping them enticed. You were supposed to, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Segue into that. Nope, not Ron. Good calls it like it is. 6:24. So tonight as well, the Los Angeles Dodgers start a 3-game series at Atlanta. The Braves, so Freddie Freeman returns to Atlanta. 3-game set, my friend.
Players have a habit of performing very well against their former teams. But I'm going to go Atlanta.
Ooh, okay. I'm going the Dodgers. I just think they've been a little more consistent. Not much, but a little more. 6:27, the Boston Red Sox will be at the Toronto Blue Jays in a 3-game series. I have normally gone Boston in these series. I just think Toronto needs this more to keep ground in the AL East. I think Toronto's going to play a little bit better, and I'm going Toronto Blue Jays.
I am also going to go Toronto Blue Jays.
All right. USFL playoffs. Playoffs. Already. We're there. 6:25. Got 2 games. First game, Philadelphia Stars versus the New Jersey Generals.
Oh, got to go with the General.
Going with the General. If Shaq was on right now, he would be going with the General.
I'm going to be in that box seat with Shaq.
Oh, I love it. You know, it's a legitimate car insurance. I just wanted you to know that if you didn't.
Yes, I know that.
All right.
It wouldn't be legit if Shaq wasn't.
It wasn't on it, right? New Orleans Breakers versus your Birmingham Stallions.
Hey,
the Stallions and the Generals had the best record. Both had 1 loss all season. I'm going Stallions. That's going to be the I don't know what they call it. It's not a Super Bowl. What do they call that? USFL championship. don't think they really have a name for it. 626, my friend.
Could be the
Major
Wii Bowl.
Ma-
WE as in we. Assuming it's US, us.
626. We've got the Los Angeles Football Club at the New York Red Bulls in Major League Soccer.
Yeah, no, I don't like the Red Bulls name, so I'm going to go with the LAFC.
I also went with Los Angeles. A little bit better record. And I agree with you. I don't like the Red Bulls. I don't know. It's just something about it. 625 WNBA action. Washington Mystic at the Las Vegas Aces. I have been a big fan of the Aces since Becky Hammond got named coach. I've been sticking with them. I'm going with the Aces again on this one.
Wait a minute. We did the Aces last week, right?
No. I don't think we did the Aces. No, we did not.
I'm going to go Washington. I'm going to go with the Mystics.
Okay, I like it. We got two. So guess what? No matter what happens, no changes next week. I will still be in the lead. There's only 2 games different. Hold on.
But I can still close within 1.
Yeah, you could. So once again, if you enjoy what you're watching, check us out. Watch that ticker. It tells you how many ways and different ways to follow us, watch us, comment.
Why don't you go through that?
So I don't have my little sheet, but you can follow us on Facebook and Twitter at Sports Unfolded, at Broadcasting RI.
Just
on
read
Twitter,
this.
right? You can follow us on Twitch as well, RI_broadcasting. Podcasts on Anchor, Spotify, Google, Amazon, Red Circle, TuneIn. So many different ways at Rhode Island Broadcasting. Like to be a sponsor of the show? Email us, Rhode Island ribroadcasting.media@gmail.com. Again, follow us on MeWe as well at Sports Unfolded. And if you're in Southeast Connecticut and you're watching us every Tuesday night at 10 p.m., check us out Friday nights. We're on Public Access Channel 12. It's a rebroadcast of our Friday show. Check us out on Fridays. Chakra, thanks for joining us. Manny has joined us tonight as well. Thank you, Manny. Been great. You followers of our show, so we appreciate all our fans and followers. Sports Unfolded Facebook, over 300 followers now, so really excited about that as well. Continue to follow our shows on Rhode Island Broadcasting as well. Pop Ascension, if you haven't checked it out, phenomenal show. Ron and Michelle do a great job with that show as well, so guys, check that out. Normally how we end our show, it is our final thoughts, and our final thought doesn't necessarily have to be about anything sports related. It could be about anything going on in the world today. And mine is a sad story on one of my favorite football broadcasters, sideline reporters, Tony Siragusa, who passed away at 55. The Goose, as he was known as, brought such an excitement to the game when he was on the sidelines. I think he was one of the biggest reasons I really started to get into football so much, because it was just fun to see him just having a good time. And it's just a shame. We lost a lot of individuals this week. A couple of players, 25, 26-year-old Boston Ravens and 25-year-old basketball player from the Portland Trail Blazers as well. So just a weird week when it comes to that. But Tony Siragusa, definitely one of my favorites of all time. And even as a player, man, he was just one of those old school, just the big guys who just, you know what I mean, ate their way through everything. But, at the end of the day, they came to play every Sunday. So, Goose, rest in peace, my friend. And we'll see you up there someday. That was my final thought.
That I did not know that he passed away. I did not see that. That's kind of alarming.
Yeah.
So rest in peace, Tony. Gonna be missed for sure. My final thought goes out to a story that we kind of covered last night on Pop Ascension. Lately, there are a lot of sports leagues and business type things that are now in the process of talking about banning transgender women from their sports. Swimming is one of them. We talked about, a thing last night as well. But it is going to be a very difficult issue when it comes to that. For the simple reason, men and women are not built the same, and they do not have the same muscle mass, as we know. And trying to separate the two is going to be nearly impossible for any organization to do so without a backlash of some sort. And I'm basically cautioning everybody to handle it with the utmost respect, because no one is going to get it right, for one, because you can't make everybody happy. And two, it's just going to be an ongoing thing because of those differences in men and women. And, if you're talking boxing, yes, you have weight classes and stuff like that can separate the difference, but it still has that muscle mass that is different. And no matter how you think about it, you're going to get somebody upset. And it is a decision that I would not want to make, because you can't get it right.
No,
it's
agreed.
impossible. So I'm just putting that out there for everybody to understand it, and don't jump the gun and lash out when they either for or against banning these athletes, because it does matter, and it is a difference, and we have to figure out how we can make it so that way it's fair too.
Yeah.
So just putting it out there. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. Everybody's entitled to their opinion.
Yeah, and I think well said. I think we would agree that we're in a country where you're allowed to have different opinions, and at least be able to kind of get through them the best way possible, and hopefully that continues to happen. So many difficult topics that have come up recently. Again, with Supreme Court in their ruling today. We're not a political show, and we won't get into that. But again, I think this country is going through a massive phase that hopefully sports can help a little bit, try to alleviate some of these things that are going on, because it's going to be very difficult for the next few months. Ron, I want to thank you for your time. What a great show. Appreciate it. One of my favorite face-offs of all time today. I mean, that was a really good one.
Face-off, pick and roll.
Yeah, nothing will beat nothing will beat the football numbers, but that was pretty close, this one. I want to thank everybody that joined us live, everybody that's going to be watching afterwards. Continue to watch us, follow us, check us out every Friday night, 6 p.m. We are live on Rhode Island Broadcasting. I am your host, Eric. Ron, we are checking out, my friend. All we want in this world is peace. Everybody have some fun out there tonight.